Oh my goodness! Do you see what time it is? Do you see what time it is? Do you see that? Oh my God! What are we doing? What are we doing here, bro? The Forbidden Shore! I'll tell you what, man, AEW, Tony Khan is very lucky. Very lucky. He had those 3 matches at the end of the show, man. Those 3 matches, they legitimately, they backpacked the Forbidden Door pay-per-view, man. They saved this entire show. No wrestling show should be ending at 12:45 on a Sunday when everyone has to wake up for work on Monday. We're going to talk about this show, man. Those 3 matches at the end were absolutely fantastic stuff. The rest, I mean, boring! We're going to talk about it. I got this fucking place open late. And I want to know, what the fuck are you guys drinking? I'll see you over there. about errors. It also isn't about excuses. WWE has failed creatively. AEW has failed fundamentally. So why did Triple H lose the plot? Why did Tony Khan abandon everything that made AEW special? Because nobody is committed to the one thing that actually matters. Long-term booking. What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. This is your AEW Forbidden Boring post-show for your Monday, June 29, 2026. I'm your host, JD from New York. As always, coming to you live from the OTS Beer Garden. Thank you guys so very much for joining me on this Monday evening, wherever you may be. Bro, it's 1:30 a.m. I don't want to hear anybody ever call me a Fed bot or a WWE soldier or whatever the cool kids you're saying on social media, man. I am not really a sicko, because the sickos are weird. The sickos also are brain rot, and they're fucking stupid. I'm one of the more intelligent sickos. I would label myself a sicko. I mean, I'm here live at 1:30 a.m. covering an AEW pay-per-view, man. Who else is doing that? Everybody else tapped out. Everybody else is probably more intelligent than I am and went to sleep. Someone asked me, JD, how many espressos did you have tonight? 3. I'll be lucky if I actually do get to sleep. One of those was decaf. Let me tell you something, man. I don't want to start off negative. I really don't want to start off negative. I wouldn't be me if I'm not complaining. Okay? This is the way that I operate. It's all in good faith. Bro, there should never be a pro wrestling show that starts at 7 o'clock. Pre-show started at 7 o'clock and ends near 1 a.m. in the morning. It is absolutely inexcusable. I don't know who I need to get a hold of, or I don't know who's listening to this that may agree with me and maybe take back to Tony Khan, or maybe you just think I'm completely wrong in all points here. I know I'm not. The sickos are usually the ones who use the excuse, oh, well, I want to get my money's worth, JD. I spent $50. I want to get 8 hours of pay-per-view, JD. It's worth every penny, JD. Meanwhile, TNA had Slammiversary tonight, and every match was, for better or worse, very good. And there were some bangers on that show, too. You know what else they did on TNA Slammiversary? They gave you 8 matches, and they fit it into a 3-hour format. Why is it so difficult for this place to actually fit a proper number of matches in a suitable time format? I'm genuinely curious. Is Tony Khan a little slow? I'm genuinely curious. On the East Coast for Double or Nothing, and I said this right at the top of my review, the flow of the show, the match order, and everything that went into that show was the best produced AEW show I've seen in years. They went off the air right before 12 o'clock. I could take that, because normally they condition us to end the fucking show at like 12:15, 12:30. Motherfucker, they went to 12:45. 12:45. And I know for a fact he thinks they're on the West Coast. This is how Tony Khan thinks. They're on the West Coast. And nowhere else in the United States, nowhere else in the entire world does he think exists. Oh, I could go till 12:45, which is 9:45 Western time. No other place on the planet exists except San Jose, motherfucking California. Oh, it's 9:45. Yeah. Hey, QT, do we got room for 4 more matches? Every single time they make a mistake, they end up correcting the mistake, and then they go back to making the same mistake. Bro, you had 1 month. 1 month. And you already went back to doing the one thing that you fixed. And yet we all come on here like fucking blabbing fucking sheep. Oh, I hope Tony Khan takes this into consideration. Oh, I hope Tony Khan fixes the shows moving forward. He's got a great foundation. Double or Nothing was widely received as one of the best pay-per-views of the modern era. Yeah, you know what we'll do? We'll give them fucking 6 hours of pay-per-view and we won't end until 12:45 Eastern time. I'm watching the show tonight. 8 p.m. Bro, we got 2 matches in the first fucking hour. I knew then we were in for a long night. This company continues to just bombard you with pro wrestling. If anybody listened to me during Double or Nothing, you heard me say verbatim, Will Ospreay and Samoa Joe went 14 fucking minutes in New York City. Absolutely top of the top, quality out the ass. You could not ask for a better match. Quintessential tournament match. 14 minutes. You didn't need to do anything more. You got everything in, and it fucking hit in 14 minutes. Konosuke Takeshita and Kazuchika Okada went 18 minutes. On a normal day, Tony Khan would send them out there and they'd go 40. 18 minutes. It hit. What more did you need to do? Bro, we had a fucking 3-way tag team match that went 28 minutes. And then Kenny Omega and Zack Sabre... Junior, bro, 30 minutes? My first question at the post-show media scrum would be, hey, TK, why did you allow Kenny Omega and Zack Sabre Jr. to go 30 minutes? For what reason? For what reason did the first 2 matches need to take up the first full hour of this pay-per-view? You would think that they were wrestling for the biggest world championship in the history of professional wrestling of all time. For 30 fucking minutes. What the fuck does the match mean? Zack Sabre's here, and then he's back to Japan tomorrow. What does it mean? What's on the line? How is this going to forward anything? Why does he need 30 minutes? Yeah, you're serving up Konosuke Takeshita and Kazuchika Okada at 18 fucking minutes. The reason why Tony Khan, first of all, whoever produced this show is absolutely fucking mental. Seriously. If it's Tony Khan or a mixture of people that he knows there, bro, something's got to change. Something's got to change. I don't understand. I genuinely don't understand why the show is as long as it is. No show should be going till 12:45, period. Period. Less is more. And the reason why Tony Khan made this show as long as he did is because he knew buy rates were going to be down, because the build sucked, nobody gives a shit about Forbidden Door, and the concept is dead. And most of the show was AEW talent anyway. So when you got all these negative things affecting the pay-per-view, he's usually going to go out there in his fucking sicko mentality, and everything's got to be 30 minutes because this is where the best wrestle, and I got to give everybody pro wrestling, and I got to blow everybody away, and the only way I know how to do that, because I can't tell any fucking stories that matter, is send everybody out there to go fucking 48 minutes in one match. God. Bro, Mike Santana and Nick Nemeth went, 20 minutes? And they had a better match than most of the fucking card. AJ Francis and Elijah went, 12 minutes, 13 minutes? It was impactful. You had Apollo Crews, Ooh-Ha Nation, Rich Swann, and Mustafa Ali. Another banger. They didn't eclipse 20 minutes. What are we doing? What are we doing? Don't get me started on the main event. The main event could have ended about 12 different fucking times yet. This company's got fucking ADD up the asshole. They don't know when to end the fucking match. Blood everywhere. Fucking 11 kickouts before the final 12th one put him away. Bro, something's got to change. I needed to get that off my chest, man. To see them do everything right and then do everything wrong as a fan, it's fucking frustrating. It really is. It really is. It's inexcusable. People work, and there are other places that exist in this world outside of San Jose, motherfucking California. They're on the West Coast and nothing else matters. Now, most of this show was as unimportant as anything I've seen and watched all year. From match 1 up until the tag team title match with Edge and Cope and Christian. Edge. He's always going to be Edge to me, Cope. Who the fuck is Cope? Edge. Edge and Christian. And the dogs. Up until that point, we got Jay White coming back. Love Jay White. Glad Jay White's back. My God, I missed him. Don't know what he's going to be doing, but right into a feud with the fucking dogs. World Championship caliber guy right there. Let's throw him into a feud with the fucking dogs. Up until that point, I was like, Jesus Christ, man, this show is absolutely fucking boring. And then after that is when things really picked up. I know a lot of people are mentioning the Thekla match with Starlight Kid. Bro, I was fucking bored. I don't know what you guys were watching. I think everybody just says it because they feel like they need to say it. Bro, the match was boring. The only good thing about the match is Tekla's antics. The best part about the match was Thekla bullying the fucking Stardom guy. Taro Okada. Started bullying him. And then the other best part of the match is when Thekla took a pair of scissors, ripped Starlight Kid's mask off, spit in it, and then threw it at Taro Okada in the front row. Do I think it was better than Kendall Gray and Lola Vice? The answer is no. That was the third best match, women's match of the weekend. Thekla and Starlight Kid. I would not put it above Lola and Kendall Gray. No. Sorry. The best women's match is the one that came as a part of the triple main event that AEW advertised for tonight. Maya World and Mercedes Mone. We're going to get into it in a little bit more detail, but this was the best women's match of the entire weekend. This was probably, I would say, top 3 best women's matches in the history of AEW. This may have been Mercedes' second best match outside the Tony Storm match at All In last year. And Mercedes has had some bangers. I thought that match was fucking great. Maya World was working against the fucking world. She was fighting against the world tonight. My God, man, what a wardrobe malfunction Maya World had. I think everybody in the front row really didn't mind the wardrobe malfunction. You got a whole look at a lot of different fucking things there. But she ended up putting on the best match of her entire fucking life. And I will have some things to say about that when we talk about Maya World and Mercedes Mone. Absolutely fantastic. I'm sold on Maya World. Tony Khan, I don't know. I mean, the fact that he got this one very particular, very simple thing with the timing issue here wrong, I don't really trust him to take Maya World and promote her to AEW Dynamite and have her sit amongst the elite. Right back to Ring of Honor you go. Right back to Ring of Honor in the app to win a nothing title from Athena you go. Thank you for coming. If this woman isn't on Dynamite for the foreseeable future and bypassing Ring of Honor's app and a nothing title that nobody gives a fuck about, I don't know what we're doing. I really don't. She should be on Dynamite. After tonight, you just made a new star. Mercedes helped make a new star. Get that woman on Dynamite. There's no reason for her to regress. She's already reached the top of the mountain. What the fuck are you going to do? Have her win the Ring of Honor world title? Nobody gives a shit. Excellent, excellent match. Then we get the 12-man steel cage. MJF now has on his resume best Texas death match of all time, best Iron Man match of all time, best dog collar match of all time, may have the best AEW match ever, several of them, and now he's got whatever the fuck they call this thing. I think they call it Death's Door. I like that. That's a very JD-like name. Now he's got another check mark on the resume. Best steel cage match in AEW history. I don't give a shit what anybody says. I am a very picky motherfucker. I am a very, very critical motherfucker. If I don't like something, I will let you know. And I will tell you exactly why I didn't like it. But when I like something, I like something. This was the best steel cage match in AEW history, and I'm putting it over the Young Bucks and the Lucha Brothers, which I was in attendance for. So was Jesse. I never had more fun with a steel cage match in AEW than I did this match tonight. Fucking great. Fucking great. Sure, there was comedy. Some of it was campy. But all of it was really fucking entertaining. It was great. And it forwarded a story. Briscoe got the win. He gets a match with MJF. Andrade didn't want to be here helping MJF because he wants a world championship match that he's been neglected of. He turns on the Don Callis family. Where's he going to slot in for the world championship? Will he even get a match with MJF and the World Heavyweight Championship? By all means, MJF might not even be the champion by the time MJF gets his match with Andrade. Absolutely fantastic stuff. And then the main event. Bell rang at 12:13 Eastern Time. We didn't go off the air till 12:45, which is insane. In the worst way ever. Did Ospreay and Swerve outdo their 2024 Forbidden Door main event? Yes, they did. Yes, they did. As far as story, they did. I think the overall match, if you kind of compact everything into what makes a great match, I'm going to take that match. They went overboard with some of the things in this match. Too much blood. Did it constitute that much blood? I get that it's the finals of the Owen. I get that they want to make the All In main event the biggest fucking deal ever. Did it constitute that much blood? Did it need that much blood? No. It did not. Again, they go overboard with everything, and they don't know to be subtle with anything. They don't know how to be subtle with anything. They don't know in moderation. Everything's got to be fucking just overdone completely. And the kickouts and the kickouts and the false finishes and the false finishes. And then the Death Riders coming out at the end, somehow acting like Will Ospreay. It's like they were the fucking urn and pole bearer. And Will Ospreay saw them, and all of a sudden he got a fucking second wind. He rose from the dead. Bro, I get they're trying to tell a story, but moderation is key here. Seriously. Overboard. It was a great match. But man, if they cut, it went over a half an hour. Bro, if you cut at least 15 minutes from the match, it would have been fucking unbelievable. I don't get it. Would it go 31 minutes? 15 minutes might be a little bit too long. If they cut like 12 minutes from the match, it would have been fucking fantastic. This is a show, a Forbidden Door concept that is not so forbidden anymore. The whole concept is dead. It doesn't mean a fucking thing anymore. The New Japan matches don't mean anything. They're just there as an accent to pretend like this show matters. Everything that mattered on this show came from AEW. That's it. And then the New Japan guys show up to pretend like the Forbidden Door still matters, to make sure the Forbidden Door pay-per-view and the concept remains relevant in their eyes. Well, the whole concept is dead. Nobody gives a fuck about the Forbidden Door. Nobody wants to see New Japan. You don't even build storyline up throughout the entire year. You don't. You pretend like it matters for 2 weeks. You get everybody on the show. The television show suffers because you throw random matches out there like you did on Wednesday night. 8 matches from top to bottom that don't mean a fucking thing. People that we don't know, people that we don't care about to see on TV here, you throw in our face like we have to care about it because, it's Forbidden Door season. No. Now, the concept is dead. But I will say those last 3 matches may very well be the best 3 matches that AEW has had on any pay-per-view ever. And those 3 matches, I can't even stress this to you. They saved this show from being a complete fucking failure. Tony Khan is very lucky for everybody involved in those 3 matches. Very, very lucky. Forbidden Door today was a thumbs-up show because of AEW. Stardom, CMLL, and New Japan had nothing to do with this show's success. So why do we need a Forbidden Door concept? Why do we need a Forbidden Door show that's only going to give us 70% of a show that doesn't matter, and then television leading up to this show that doesn't matter, it also suffers too. When you got the resources there, rebrand the show. Completely come up with a different concept. It's not needed anymore. He's very lucky for those 3 matches. Otherwise, this show, massively, thumbs down. We're going to go over this show. We're going to break it down. I took some fun and extensive notes here. We're not going to spend too much time on this, man. It is very late. I'm going to try and speed us through this thing tonight. This is your AEW Forbidden Door 2026 post show right here on Off the Scripts. I want to thank you guys for joining me, man. All the sickos out. We got 1,800 people here on a Monday, early Monday morning. Most of you guys have already tapped out and went to bed. Hopefully you are going to catch up with the stream on Monday morning when you head to work, or school, or the gym, or wherever you're going. But thank you guys very much for all of your support. I watched TNA Slammiversary in full. I had to watch it today simply because of the Amazing Red. Amazing Red had a great performance tonight. He held back a lot. He was great. But if you ain't coming to a House of Glory show, man, you're not really seeing everything that the Amazing Red still does in an amazing way. He was great. He added to that match. Believe it or not, the X Division match tonight was probably one of the more disappointing matches, just because everything else was so good. He was there. He got inducted into the Hall of Fame. They announced it. Frankie Kazarian had a great speech. Mike Santana came. When Mike Santana came out, man, I had a tear or two come down my cheek. Love Red. I owe Red a lot. Honestly, as does everybody else in the fucking business. So proud to work for him. So proud to see him every month and shake his hand and tell him thank you. Absolutely deserves it. I watch mainly because of him. And I'll tell you what, man, that show was a fucking great show. Great show. AJ Francis and Elijah had a really good match. I did not expect that match to be good. I'm like, oh shit, I'm going to get up and go make a coffee. Nope. They had a really good match. Moose and Eddie Edwards had a really good fucking match. Tag team titles, Hardys are still doing their thing, man. Love Matt and Jeff. Santana and Nemeth, fucking banger in the main event. The whole show was great. Ali, Uha Nation, Apollo Crews and Rich Swann, triple threat match. Great stuff. I'm telling you, man. If you didn't watch that, that's the show to watch. From top to bottom, it flowed so easy. Flowed so easy. So much better than last year's Slammiversary. I watched some of NXT. I got to go back and watch some of the Tatum Paxley and Zarya match. Some people were telling me it was really good. And I got to watch. I came in late. I got to watch at least half of the Tony D'Angelo and Evil Nakaru match. Everything else I didn't really care about. I did watch most of Lola and Kendall. I'm going to go back and rewatch it, though, just kind of uninterrupted. I was flipping back and forth between that and Forbidden Door. But, man, there was a lot of wrestling. There was a lot of wrestling today, man. I would be lying if I told you guys I'm not wrestled out. Good thing I don't cover TNA or NXT, but I may actually upload to Patreon some of my thoughts on TNA and NXT, just to give you guys my thoughts there, because I don't typically cover those shows, so it's going to be kind of in the moment. So maybe I'll do that sometime between Monday and Tuesday. Tonight, it's all about a Forbidden Door show that I did give a thumbs up to. We're going to get into it just very shortly here. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. If you're new here, welcome. Hit that subscribe button, man. I guarantee you are going to enjoy your stay. Go check out all the content on the channel. Plenty of it. Instagram, we uploaded some reels about Sami Zayn. I got some more coming during the week. We covered Night of Champions. Go check that out. Largely positive review there from my side of things. As far as my review goes, the actual show, not so much. Outside Sami Zayn, Braun Breaker, Seth Rollins, and Obafemi winning, it was a largely lifeless show. I still don't understand why I got so much negative blowback because I'm a Sami Zayn guy, and why I didn't like the show. Everybody was giving it an 8 out of 10. Some people were giving it a 9 out of 10. I don't know what the fuck you guys were watching. Boring. So go check that out. We did some great numbers there. You guys are great for that. And please hit that thumbs up. And leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought of the Forbidden Door show. And super chats are open. We will read them at the end of the stream. Anything goes a long way, man. Anything helps us out. It's the great way, or the best way, I should say, a great way to support what we do here, right here on the streams for Off the Script. The Jade rant was epic. Bro, Jade sucks. She's not a good professional wrestler. She means nothing to the show. If she disappeared tomorrow, nobody would give a shit and nobody would know. Honestly. Let's get into things here. Forbidden Door. I'm not going over the pre-show. I don't know what happened on the pre-show, and quite honestly, I don't care. I don't care. We're gonna crown a new TBS champion on Wednesday. Willow Nightingale is on her way back, which I don't know why she's back so soon. I thought the injury that she had was more serious than it was, but apparently it's not. And she's going to be on her way back while we're crowning a new champion for the championship that she had to vacate. Maybe Statlander wins it and we get Willow versus Stat at All In. She is a part of that survival of the fittest match on Wednesday. Also announced on Wednesday, we're getting Briscoe versus MJF for the World Championship. It's not taking place at Beach Break. I thought that they would save it for there. Maybe they do MJF Briscoe on Wednesday. MJF retains, which he absolutely should. I don't really see Mark Briscoe winning the title. And then maybe we do Andrade versus MJF at Beach Break. So we'll go over the actual show here. We're not going over the pre-show, which, again, none of it really mattered. So we got the Young Bucks. They open the show. Matt and Nick Jackson against El Sky Team. This is Mystico and Mascara Dorada against Unbound Company, Shingo Takagi, and Teton. Tony Khan loves him some Teton. I'd rather Tea-Time than Teton, but this is what we got. Bro, this match went way too long. And all you had to hear for the first two matches, and then he finally shut his fucking mouth, Excalibur, this match will have global ramifications. Then he proceeds to tell us nothing about what these global ramifications really are. How does the Young Bucks against El Sky Team versus Unbound Company have global ramifications? What the fuck does that even mean? Bro, we know the match doesn't mean anything. Why would a match like this have global ramifications? And then he proceeds not to tell us anything about what these ramifications are. Now, I expected the Young Bucks to win because I think anybody that watches the show can assume the Young Bucks are going to All In to wrestle for the Tag Team Championships. It will be the Young Bucks versus Edge and Christian for the AEW Tag Team titles. Whether FTR is going to be involved or not, I don't know. They are on a vacation now. They certainly deserve it. It would be kind of odd if they miss All In. I mean, this is what they work all year for. Maybe they do a triple threat match, come back, one big match. Their contracts are in a option year. I don't know. Maybe they're holding out for more money. I don't know what the deal is with FTR. We'll talk about that at a later date, but 3-team triple threat match here. This is AEW versus New Japan versus CMLL and Stardom. Now, the match was fine, outside of it being too long. And I put in my notes, if you like fast-paced tag team wrestling with insane sequences, just like everything else that you usually see with the Young Bucks and their fucking formulaic party matches on Dynamite, well, this match was certainly up your alley. Referee basically said, fuck the tags, and let all 6 guys go at it tornado style. And that's what they usually do for these party matches. So there was a stretch in this match where I gave up. Who's the legal man? I don't fucking know. There was also a part in the match where I gave up counting fucking super kicks. Everybody got a fucking super kick. Everybody. And I'm not even talking about the Young Bucks handing out super kicks. Everybody handed out super kicks. Every single team hit a super kick multiple times. Crowd was into it. I don't know what the global ramifications are. Neither did they, but they were still into it. The Bucks hit a Meltzer driver on Teton to get the win here. Post-match, they actually applauded Mystico on his way up the ramp. The Bucks needed this win to keep momentum going towards the AEW Tag Team Championships, which I said will be them versus Edge and Christian for the AEW Tag Team titles at Wembley Stadium at All In. That's all it was. Again, nothing more, nothing less. If you like your AEW party matches, then this one's for you. Kenny Omega He went one-on-one with Zack Sabre Jr. First match took us past the halfway point of the 8 o'clock hour. This match, they took us right up until 9 o'clock. I said this in the beginning, and I'm going to repeat myself again. AEW promoted this match as a dream match. AEW promoted this match as a first time ever here in the United States. I don't know why this needed to go to 30 minutes. This went 30 minutes. At one point in the match, I looked at my clock and I'm like, all right, this match has got to be over soon. And it kept going. And I looked again and it kept going. And I looked again and it kept going. There was nothing on the line here. Excalibur says this one is going to have global ramifications. Yet again proceeds to tell us nothing about what these ramifications are. There was nothing on the line. They booked this match because they needed something to feel like it was Forbidden Door. Oh, we haven't done this match yet. Oh, Zack Sabre's worked this guy and that guy, and he's been on every Forbidden Door since we started this thing. Has he wrestled Kenny? No, let's do it. This is basically AEW trying to give Kenny Omega a big win over a notable name before they put him in the main event of Redemption next month in July, and put him in a match for the AEW World Championship against MJF. That's what they're doing. And that does not bode well for MJF. And I'm going to be blatantly honest with you, that shit sucks. To take the belt off MJF this soon to All In is a slap in that man's face. You started the year with MJF. You end at your biggest show of the year with MJF. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, to me. All the sickos are going to go crazy over Ospreay and Omega being the main event of All In. But to bypass MJF, that guy has been the heart and soul of this fucking place. This guy's been the reason why they actually got back on track. And you're not going to put him in the main event against Will Ospreay? Oh, but we've seen it, JD. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit. And I don't give a fuck about any political bullshit that's happening backstage either, whether it's with Will Ospreay or Tony Khan or whoever the fuck it is. MJF and Will Ospreay should absolutely 100% be the main event of All In. Fuck that. What are you going to do with MJF? Hangman? Andrade? Mick Foley? Absolutely ridiculous. Just slap in the fucking face. They have two of the best matches in company history, and a third match should absolutely take place in the main event. I don't give a shit if it's happened at Wembley before. I don't give a shit if Will doesn't want to work MJF or whatever the fucking reason is. Will works for Tony. Will doesn't own AEW. Kenny Omega and Zack Sabre Jr. Good match. It's a good match that X and Blue Cry are going to overrate to the fucking gills because they don't know any better. They think the longer the match goes, the more stars it gets. This could have been shaved by at least 15 minutes, and we would have gotten the same result. This did not need to go 30. It was 8 years between these two guys having a singles match. The crowd enjoyed it. I didn't really enjoy it as much as everybody else did. Like I said, it went on way too long. I'm not going to sit here and go over every fucking move and sequence and fucking wrist lock that Zack Sabre Jr. applied here because I find him to be incredibly boring. But these guys work very well together. And Kenny Omega is fucking great. Now, Zack Sabre spent the entire match trying to destroy Omega's arm, wrenching it over the guardrail, snapping his fingers, twisting the joints, anything that he could get his hands on. If it bends, Zack Sabre Jr. went for it. Omega kept firing back with V-triggers and snapdragons despite his arm being completely compromised. The finish saw Kenny Omega hit a big move, Kamigoye, followed by a one-winged angel for the win. Sabre had never beaten Omega in a singles match, And that remains the same after tonight. Omega wins, and commentary says it keeps his name in title discussion. He wants the AEW World Championship. He wants to fight for it one more time. Kenny Omega even said about a week and a half ago, he called out MJF and mentioned that it will be his redemption. Bro, they are telegraphing this like a fucking motherfucker. I'm telling you, it's not the match. It's not the match. Let me see them do Ospreay and Omega and then leave MJF to work fucking 61-year-old Mick Foley. Nigel McGuinness said on commentary, I put in my notes, that pro wrestling is an art form, he said, and that was a masterpiece. I don't know, man. To each his own. You might have liked the match. I felt like it could have been shaved 15 minutes, and I'm going to tell you, I actually take Zack Sabre versus Orange Cassidy at Forbidden Door a few years ago. Better. I enjoyed that match more than I did this one. Shota Umino. Actually, no, that wasn't next. Jon Moxley versus Bandito was next. Jon Moxley versus Bandito. This was good. I enjoyed this because I like Bandito. I think Bandito's the best luchador in the entire game right now. Continental Classic rules. Nobody is allowed at ringside. The match itself here, Bandito is the current Ring of Honor World Champion. He stepped up for the challenge against Moxley in the Continental title. The Ring of Honor title was not on the line, just Moxley's Continental title. These two have never had a one-on-one singles match before, but they crossed paths in a tag team match 2 weeks ago on Dynamite when it was Brodito getting back together for whatever reason. I guess they didn't know how to book Brody King as a single, so right back to tag team action you go. Brodito against Danny Garcia and Jon Moxley. So the match came about because they met in a tag team match, and Bandito got a win in that match, and he wanted to try his luck against Jon Moxley here. He missed a couple of months of action as well due to visa issues, so apparently the story was he got a win and he wants to continue proving how great he is. So we got this match, and this was largely good. I think Bandito's great. Moxley largely has had some really good matches too, but you know, you lose me when I don't know what the Death Riders are. I can't decipher what the Death Riders are. One week they're babyface, the next week they're heel. They worked heel against Brodito. Tonight they're working heel. Moxley's working heel against Bandito. One week he's working babyface and everyone's fucking cheering for him. What the fuck are they? Why can't we decide what the Death Riders are? Are they heel or are they babyfaces? Or maybe it doesn't matter. It proves one thing. Tony Khan is now booking the Death Riders. The Death Riders are booking the Death Riders. He's got more fucking turns than the Big Show. I can't tell. I've lost count. I will say, though, I will absolutely say the Death Riders in 2026 are a little bit more digestible than they were in 2025. I mean, there was just rampant interference and outside interference. Now that Moxley's won the Continental Championship, you get to see how good Jon Moxley actually is away from all the fucking garbage. You get to see him actually wrestle. And you get no interference. The one thing about the Continental Championship is an AEW doesn't really have disqualifications or fuck finishes like that anyway. But you get to see how the rules of a one-on-one match, keeping everybody outside, away from the ring, because of the rules of the Continental title, it gets to show you how good a pro wrestling match can be when there's no bullshit. a winner and a loser must happen. I like it. No nonsense, no interference, no Death Riders running in every 5 seconds. Moxley pile drove Bandito at one point in this match onto the ring steps and busted him open very badly. You see Bandito start bleeding through the mask. So Moxley, when he sees blood, he's like a fucking great white. He gets Bandito back in the ring, and he starts ripping at Bandito's mask. You know, you want me to cheer Jon Moxley one week and herald him as a hero, and then he's ripping at Bandito's mask, disrespecting the Lucha tradition. So, what is he? I guess it doesn't matter. So he starts ripping at the mask of Bandito, trying to expose him. You see this big eye open. He ripped the mask open. Bandito was not going to go quietly, though. This guy hit a one-arm power press slam on Moxley. One arm. And then later he hit an avalanche fallaway slam off the top rope that nearly took Moxley and the Continental Championship with him. Finish saw Moxley had a bulldog choke locked in for at least 90 seconds. Bandito powered up to his feet. Moxley was on his back. He falls backwards. Moxley, though, still had the bulldog choke applied. And he did not break the hold. That was Bandito's last-ditch effort to break the hold. And Moxley did not let go of the bulldog choke. Moxley held on. Bandito passed out. And that was it. It was clean. It was physical. It was believable. And I guess they really kind of upped the intensity here just to show you how much of a tough guy Jon Moxley is after Bully Ray basically said he'd beat the shit out of Jon Moxley and called him soft. Maybe that had something to do with it. I don't know. Bandito's fucking great. He's the Ring of Honor World Champion. I don't know why they constantly have the Ring of Honor World. I mean, this goes to show you that Ring of Honor doesn't really mean anything. You're going to send the Ring of Honor World Champion in there to just take a loss. How valuable is the Ring of Honor World Championship? Why should I care? If your champion is going in there and losing. Good match. Match was made 2 weeks ago after Bandito asked for a match and Moxley gave it to him. There's not really much to sink your teeth into there, but that's the way everything ended up. Shota Umino. Who? Umino. Shota Umino. He defended the IWGP Global Championship against Pac. Now, this match was made literally on Collision. Literally. Last Saturday. Pac of the Death Riders challenged Shota Umino. Umino was mentored. I did my research. Umino was mentored by Jon Moxley during his Young Lion days in New Japan. Moxley obviously now leads the Death Riders. So this is basically a student of Moxley going up against one of Moxley's lieutenants. It's master versus student's enemy. I'm not sure that's going to sell you on buying Forbidden Door or watching Forbidden Door, but that's what the story is. And they think we're supposed to fucking absolutely invest so much of our emotion in this because Shota Umino was trained by Jon Moxley. Now, the match itself, I mean, there's never a bad Pac match, ever. I enjoyed this, but there's no reason to care. After this, it's it. It's over. There's nothing that comes out of this. There's nothing that forwards this at all. It's one and done. A match that gets a New Japan talent in the ring with an AEW talent so that we can keep up appearances for Forbidden Door. The crowd was dead for a lot of this because they don't know who Shota Umino is or why we should care about Shota Umino. It's not their fucking fault. AEW doesn't do their due diligence on telling the story or why this matters. When you don't feature the talent on the show and you take the lowest way possible to get this match made and booked. Why do you expect the fans to care? Shota Umino didn't make one fucking appearance anywhere on TV during the Forbidden Door build, and Pac basically asked this guy, Umino, for a match, and we were supposed to fucking care because Pac challenged for the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship. How am I supposed to care if Shota Umino doesn't make one fucking appearance? How am I supposed to care if Shota Umino doesn't build a match in person with Pac? How am I supposed to care when there's legitimately zero build? This is why the Forbidden Door concept is a fail. Tony Khan is booking this off New Japan lore and thinks that the American audience is going to give a shit about this. They don't. They don't care. We know Pac is a great wrestler, but why do we care about Pac and Umino's ties to the Death Riders? This is how people say and why people say Tony doesn't build and promote and book to build a new audience. He doesn't want new fans. He doesn't give a shit about new fans. The only people he books for are the people who are watching New Japan. Once they got going, it ended up being a decent match. Nobody cares, but it ended up being a decent match. Pac hits a beautiful Asai moonsault from the top rope to the outside. Then there was an overhead belly-to-belly suplex off the top rope, which landed beautifully. And then the spot of the match. Pac takes Umino. There was a table set up on the outside earlier in the match. Pac hits a razor's edge on Umino through the table on the outside. That legitimately got holy shit chance. Pac in the ring, quickly. 450 splash. Right into a Rings of Saturn by Pac. Pac was trying to win this title and pulling everything out to do so. Umino hits a running shotgun dropkick after going all the way around the ring, sending Pac into the barricade. Followed with a hangman DDT onto the floor. And down the stretch, Umino hit a second chapter and that's his finish, by the way, and gets the win to retain the IWGP Global Championship. Post-match, Moxley comes out to stare down his former protege. Then all of a sudden, Hiroshi Tanahashi's music hit. And bro, is it me or did Tanahashi make frequent visits to the Japan McDonald's in his neighborhood? Bro, he looked like a fucking Japanese blowfish out there. I'm like, what the fuck? I guess he's enjoying retirement, huh? So he comes on out there. He's the president of New Japan. The Death Riders leave. He raises Umino's hand. And he puts his stamp of approval on Shota Umino as the global heavyweight champion. Moxley bails. And that was it. Another forced appearance to get Hiroshi Tanahashi on the show. Just to say we got the president of New Japan on our show. Look, it's Forbidden Door season. None of it really mattered. Match was fun. By the time you get to Dynamite on Wednesday, nobody's going to give a shit. Thekla. She went one-on-one against Starlight Kid. This was for the AEW Women's Championship. Now, I know a lot of people are going to really overhype this because everybody loves Starlight Kid apparently, and I'm supposed to as well because this is what we have to do. And if you go against the sickos, then they lead you to slaughter and fucking crucify you on the cross. How don't you like Starlight Kid, JD? She's Tony Khan's favorite wrestler. Sorry, sicko, I'm not a mark. Nor do I give a shit about Stardom. There's enough here I gotta complain about. I don't need to ingest Stardom and know everything about what's going on over there. All I know is, outside of everything that truly is forbidden with the Forbidden Door, Thekla, because I'm putting all of this on Thekla, Jesse, Thekla. Not putting this on creative, not putting this on Tony Khan by any means. Thekla ran with it, and Thekla was the only person on this entire show during this entire build that made anything on this show truly feel forbidden. This was the one match that really felt forbidden. She did a great job. And Tekla's great. Tekla's largely been great. I'm super happy to see Thekla kind of continue to break out of that shell. I remember when me and Jesse picked on the creative for not allowing Thekla to speak. What does this woman sound like? Why doesn't she speak? She's got lips. Let me see words come out of her mouth. Then she speaks. And then she speaks some more. And then she speaks some more after that. And she starts to kind of open up. You got to see a little bit of her personality. You got to see her unique brand of charisma. And she did a very good job. We were told about why she left, but AEW didn't really go into any of that. I mean, they used it as like a really kind of dim accent to the overall Thekla character. Where did she come from? She came from Stardom. Why did she come from Stardom? Why is she here? Oh, she got fired from Stardom because she bullied around the boss. They didn't really go deep into why Thekla left Stardom. Thekla did a very good job of telling us exactly what happened, who she had a problem with, and why she had a problem with Stardom, and why she had a problem with the way they did things over there, and why she had a problem with Taro Okada. This all falls in the lap of Thekla. You have Thekla to thank for the one match on this show truly being forbidden, being this one. Shout out to Thekla. We love Thekla. Now, with that said, was this a good match? Sure. The crowd largely died. They didn't really react to much of anything outside of the hijinks of Thekla when she's bullying Okada on the outside and then ripping the mask of Starlight Kid. They didn't really react to much. They reacted here to a big spot or there to a big spot. But this was largely a disappointment. What was I supposed to see in Starlight Kid here that everybody said, man, you're going to love Starlight Kid? What is it that she did tonight? What is it that she does that I'm supposed to see? What was I supposed to get out of Starlight Kid or this match that I didn't get out of Mercedes and Maya World? Or Lola Vice and Kendall Gray? What was it? It's because everybody wants to watch the Joshis. We can't dislike what the Joshis are doing. This match did nothing for me. Absolutely nothing for me. I had no doubt in my mind that Thekla was going to retain the title because it doesn't make sense to take the belt off of Thekla. She's done nothing in the reign. She's had a disappointing reign. Matches that don't have any heat. Matches that don't have any story. There's no story. There's no true tension between anybody. This wasn't against Starlight Kid. It was Thekla and Stardom. There was no tension. There was no promo back and forth. There was no, why I dislike you, why you dislike me. There was no face-to-face. There was no contract signing. There was nothing there between them. It was all Thekla and why she hates Stardom. Death to Stardom. What did you guys see that I didn't? I don't know. Match itself was fine. And that's all it was. Third best match, women's match of the weekend. Thekla right now is the queen of the women's division. I don't know how long that's going to last now with Mercedes basically reenacting Bullet Bill from Super Mario. Coming straight for her. Mercedes is like the blue shell in Super Mario Kart coming right for Thekla. And it's going to end up exactly like when you get hit from a blue shell in Mario Kart. Boom. You go from first place all the way to fucking 15th within a millisecond. The match itself was fine. It wasn't bad by any means, but I'm not going to sit here and over-embellish because everybody else is all over Starlight Kid's mask. So we talked about why Thekla made this match important. Early on, Thekla grabbed Okada by his tie outside. Started bullying him around a little bit. Starlight Kid made the save. And then after the match, Thekla took a pair of scissors and ripped Starlight Kid's mask off. She spit in it, walked over to Taro Okada, and shoved it in his face before slapping him around with the mask. Referee rushed in to cover Kid's face with a towel. Obviously, Thekla got booed. Julia Hart and Sky Blue came out. They stood next to Thekla. Thekla understood the assignment. She made the match feel personal with Stardom and Taro Okada, and she got the proper heat she needed. That's basically it. There's really nothing else in this match that kind of stood out in any way, to me anyway. Thekla got the win. What she does at Redemption, I don't know. But Mercedes got the match at Wembley Stadium for All In. And Tony Khan would be smart to take Thekla and bring Thekla into the Women's Championship match against Mercedes. Do I think that's going to happen? No. I don't. For some weird reason, they showed Willow Nightingale, and they're really propping up Willow Nightingale's return. I could see Willow, being that she came back relatively quickly, and they are already crowning a new TBS champion. I could see Willow going after Thekla. I could see Willow beating Thekla, and I can see Willow wrestling Mercedes at All In. I could. They're looking for a rematch. They're looking for a big match. They're looking for a match that has some sort of history. Thekla and Mercedes have no history. Thekla and Mercedes have no footprint with each other. They're also two heels. I don't know how that's going to happen. Why would you book two heels? How would that come off? I could absolutely see Tony Khan going to Willow and Mercedes at All In. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We got Cope and Cage against the Dogs. This was for the AEW Tag Team Championships. Bro, the Dogs are two of the most boring guys that AEW has put on TV since they've arrived. They do absolutely nothing for me. Cope and Cage had to remain off TV up until 2 weeks ago to sell an attack. We had them show up on the Wednesday after Double or Nothing and take out Cope and Cage for basically the majority of this build. And then they didn't really do anything outside to build a meaningful story. Cope and Cage come back, they attack the Dogs, and then the match is made. There really isn't anything going on with these two teams that would really matter to anybody. There was legitimately no story. Finlay and Connors have been unapologetic in their pursuit of the tag team championships since Double or Nothing. Cope and Cage, on the other hand, they're obviously the tag team champions. They beat FTR in a great match at Double or Nothing. They clearly want to do everything they can to hold on to the championships because this is the last time we're going to see Cope and Cage teaming together. So this is basically just the gritty veterans wanting to hold on to the gold against the up-and-coming hungry newcomers for the tag team titles. And basically, like I said 4 weeks ago, the Dogs fit into that overall New Japan vibe. So it kind of gives off a New Japan Forbidden Door match while they are still AEW talent. It's basically what they did there. So, the first half of this match, it felt like it belonged on Dynamite. Honestly. First half of this match felt like Dynamite. We'll pick it up at the end here. There was a commentary table spot. Cage had his injured forearm placed underneath the ring steps. Connors was going to charge off the apron, but Copeland made the save, and Connors was launched onto the commentary table. Cage finally broke free. Copeland made the hot tag. He spiked Finlay with a impaler DDT for a 2 count. Copeland signaled for the spear. Finlay leapfrogged, and the Dogs took Copeland down. So the Dogs wanted high-low. Cage pulled Connors outside. Finlay was laid out by Copeland. Cage was going to use his slingshot out to the floor, but he was driven into the guardrail by Connors. We go back inside. Copeland took the high-low anyway for a 2 count. So the Dogs are signaling for their finish, which they call the full clip. Copeland suplexed Finlay into Connors. Connors crashed to the outside. Copeland went for a spear. He ate a knee lift, only for Finlay to run up into a pop-up spear. Connors broke the count by sending Cage into the referee, Stephon Smith, who was down a very, very long time. Now, someone asked me on social media before the show, JD, do you see any returns happening? Well, conveniently, Jay White tweeted out before the show simply saying, I'm ready. So that kind of gave it away that Jay White might be returning at Forbidden Door. And that's exactly what happened. The lights go out, and we see the Bang Bang Gang on the stage. So the lights go out. They come back on. We see the Bang Bang Gang on the stage in their spotlight. And in the ring, Jay White returns to a massive ovation. Now, White laid out Finlay with the Blade Runner. Copeland hit the spear. And Cope and Cage retain the AEW Tag Team Championships. Now, why did Jay White come back and target the Dogs? Now, I had to do some research because I didn't really know the whole full extent of why Jay White and David Finlay have problems. Jay White and David Finlay go way back. They came up together in the New Japan dojo as young lions. They were actually best friends. Jay White turned into Switchblade, joined the Bullet Club, became its leader, and then their friendship was dead. When White was finally forced out of New Japan after losing a loser leaves New Japan match to Eddie Kingston, Finlay came out and attacked him on his way out the door. Kicked him while he was down. Finlay then took over Bullet Club's leadership as its 5th leader and made it very clear what Jay White was doing in AEW with Bullet Club Gold was not the real Bullet Club. He considered himself the legitimate leader. So when the lights went out, Jay White came back to attack David Finlay with the Blade Runner, helped Cope and Cage win the Tag Team Championship, or win the Tag Team Championship match, and retain the titles. So we got a few years of Bullet Club history, more than likely playing out, going into All In. Now, I don't know if that's going to result in the Dogs versus the Bang Bang Gang, because Gabe Kidd is back. We could see Gabe Kidd, David Finlay, and Clark Connors against Jay White and the Bang Bang Gang, or the Guns. Or maybe it's Jay White and Juice with Ace Austin. I don't know. Could be a 2-on-2. Could be on 3-on-3. It could be David Finlay versus Jay White, which is probably what I would prefer. If there's history between them and only them, I want to see their history play out. This actually might make David Finlay a little bit more interesting on TV if we get some sort of backstory as to why he dislikes Jay White. Maybe that's all he was missing. Somebody with some history that he has history with that they could actually flesh out on TV. How much of that they're actually going to do on TV, that remains to be seen. I don't know. Cope and Cage win. That's basically what happened there. Mercedes Mone. She went one-on-one with Maya World. This was the first of the triple main events. This is the finals of the women's Owen Hart tournament. Now, Renee Paquette was at ringside. She's talking about Maya World trying to find her new normal after the tragic loss of her brother. who tragically passed away in a car accident. So Maya told her that no one expected her to be here, but expectations don't win matches. She does. I understood Maya World being in the tournament was a feel-good moment for her and Tony Khan and the tournament. I did not mind her taking a spot that was meant for Sareee. In fact, this actually worked out better than Sareee being in the tournament, quite honestly. A win over Sky Blue was innocent. A win over Athena is where I started questioning AEW Creative and what they were doing. Now, I didn't really know why they were doing what they were doing. Everybody kind of pinpointed Mercedes and Athena. Man, you can't bypass that match. That match is too good to give up. We got it once before. Why don't we get a second one? I was lobbying for this match, the main event, for the women's division, going back to last year's All in Texas. I thought that should have been the women's match. Instead, we got Mercedes and Toni Storm. They were all over the promotional work for that. They were at Arlington Stadium months before they put tickets on sale. Athena was there with Mercedes. And I'm like, all right. Now we got the opportunity to do it again in the finals, and they missed the boat again. They had Maya World beat Athena. And I'm like, all right, a feel-good moment in the opening round is fine. A feel-good moment in the second round that shouldn't be, that's a little too much. A little too much. For relatively unknown, it's a little bit too much. Then you got people saying, well, Maya World should win this Owen. No. Why would Maya World win the Owen when she wasn't even slated for the tournament to begin with? You do realize that both Mercedes and Maya World weren't even in the original 8 of the tournament. And they ended up being in the final because the tournament was so plagued by injury. Nobody would be buying a ticket to see Maya World at Wembley Stadium. Nobody. And I don't really trust, to be quite honest with you, I don't really trust Tony Khan to really flesh out Maya World's story on television, to really make it a meaningful, emotional, sympathetic story. That would have been way too much work for him. So after all that, we got Mercedes and Maya World. We hear that this is a dream match for Maya. She wanted this match since she first started out in the business. Mercedes is her inspiration, her idol. Join the list. Get in the line. I will say, Maya World made a believer out of me. Whatever she was selling, after tonight, I'm buying. I'm going all in. This match was the best match, in my opinion, from bell to bell. And I mean the substance of the match. From opening bell to final bell, what was in the match, to me, meant more than anything else on the show. Because I knew what was on the line for Maya, and I knew what was on the line for Mercedes, and I knew how good Mercedes was. This was the best match of the night, in my opinion. If you don't agree with that, I mean, take your pick. From the steel cage match to Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland. This was the best match of the night, in my opinion. And this would be, I would say, probably top 3 best women's matches of all time in AEW. The only other matches I would put above this include Mariah May, Toni Storm, Hollywood Ending, and Mercedes, Toni Storm at All In last year. That's it. And you could go back a couple of years. I think there was like a street fight between Willow and Chris Statlander. No rules. Chicago street fight or whatever it was. That was also fucking awesome. This match was fucking great. So whatever Maya World is selling, I'm buying. And if you see people heaping praise on this match, it's well deserved. Now, I will say this before I get into some of what happened here. Sometimes, and I'm talking directly to Tony Khan, sometimes promoters, they miss the boat. Something flies right by them, and they don't notice it at all. You cannot let Maya World fly by you and have her land back on a Saturday Night Collision or land back on a Ring of Honor app that nobody's fucking watching, wrestling fucking Deonna Purrazzo in front of 5 people. Love Deonna, by the way. Sometimes promoters don't get it. Sometimes promoters do something for the sake of sympathy. Sometimes promoters do something because there really is nobody that they could call upon to fill a spot like this. So Maya World was unfortunately chosen because she was the only one. The thing is, the beautiful thing is, Maya World made the most of every fucking appearance she's had since being chosen for this spot in the tournament. She beat Sky Blue, she beat Athena, and she wrestled Mercedes. She made herself a name. She made herself a star. And for everybody that says Mercedes is overrated, you could fucking suck my dick. Mercedes is not overrated. Mercedes is fucking great. And you saw why here. This match does not happen the way that it does. Nobody's talking about this match the way that they are without Mercedes Mone being in it. Plain and simple. Tony Khan has a star. You made a new star in your women's division. One that you didn't have previously. One that you didn't have 3 weeks ago. Why on earth would you take Maya World out of this show and then not feature her regularly on Dynamite? She should be in discussion now with the Willows and the Stats and the Tony Storms and the Mercedes Mones and the Theklas. She needs to be in that discussion. You had this woman fall into your lap. She was given 3 opportunities, and every step of the way, she made herself a bigger name and shined the brightest that she's ever shown on this stage against Mercedes. And you're going to do what? Feature her on Collision? Or what we got teased tonight? Wrestle Athena and take the title from Athena, ending her forever reign? Bro, she's better than that. She's better than that. You clearly saw it tonight. Why would you do that? If Tony Khan does not heed these words, if Tony Khan does not take Maya World and make her into a fixture in that women's division, he will have failed as a promoter. Plain and simple. You don't get stars like this that drop from the sky all that often. You take it and you now mold it. You don't take it and then fucking, all right, thanks for coming. Back to the app you go. Give me a fucking break. This was the best match of the entire night. Now, there was a wardrobe malfunction with Maya World that really hindered her performance. Every single sequence, every single move, she was holding her top. She was legitimately coming out of her top. Aubrey Ed was on the outside. I don't know what I guess it was a wardrobe malfunction from the get-go because Aubrey Edwards, I guess, went over to help Maya World fix her wardrobe malfunction. And then she just walked over to the crowd and started bickering with the crowd. I didn't know what was going on. It was like Aubrey Edwards was legitimately, she took herself out of the match. Mercedes was in the ring counting up to a 10 count like she was the referee. Now, I know she was mocking and she had to stall for time, so she decided to do that. But I didn't know what was going on. Maya World did not let the wardrobe malfunction derail her, though. Mercedes kicked things off doing her own 10 count on the outside. Crowd counted along. She ran around the ring, flipped them all off. I guess that's why she's the CEO. The near falls in this match were the best near falls of the entire night, and they actually meant something. Legitimate near falls, not let me hit my fucking finishing move 13 fucking times and kick out 12 times. No, No, they were real near falls. Maya World hit a beautiful springboard cutter. Genuinely thought it was it. I even thought that Tony Khan, because everything just felt so predictable on this show, that he would actually throw the unpredictability machine a bone and give Maya World the win. I thought that was it. She kicked out of a Mone Maker, which, I thought was it again, but she kicked out. She had rolling fallaway slams that dumped Mercedes out to the floor. Crowd was absolutely buying into everything she was selling. She hits a tope suicida with half of her top falling off. Senton bomb, a middle rope moonsault. She was pulling out everything and managed to stay in her top. I legitimately thought there was going to be a fucking black screen on my screen at one point. At the end of this match, this is what really made her a star. There were dueling chants. Mone went for another Mone Maker. Maya spun out into a bridge for two. Mone is up. She got a knee lift. She got dumped from the apron from a backstabber. Sunset bomb out to the floor. Moonsault. Back inside Maya. Middle rope moonsault. Mone got the shoulder up. Mone dodged a charge into a roll-up of her own. Maya found herself in position to apply a statement maker. Mone teased a tap, but Maya kicked back from the ropes like Mercedes usually does, and Mone was able to apply the submission. Maya was within inches of getting the ropes. Mone turned it into a pin for a two. Mone with a cutthroat backstabber and a statement maker. That was what she ended the match with, and she wrenched it back, and Maya had no other situation but to tap. That was it. Post-match, Mone went up the ramp, posed with the Owen Hart Foundation title and the trophy, and that was it. That was it. Excellent. It's fucking excellent. I doubt Tony Khan's going to listen. This woman will be back on Ring of Honor before you know it, because we saw Athena interviewed by Renee as soon as this match was over. Clearly said the better woman won, and she's not surprised. It's all due to the paradox. Athena is the greatest women's champion of all time. But when it comes to her pupils, they're filled with constant regret. Athena says if she didn't have a lapse in judgment, no one would know who Maya World is. But keeps dreaming those big dreams. When it comes to Athena, it belongs in the back of the line. They are building Athena and Maya World up for the Ring of Honor Women's Championship. As far as I'm concerned, after tonight, that's beneath Maya World. 12-man steel cage match is what came next. This was the second of the triple main event. Now, the story here is simple. If Briscoe's team wins, he earns a shot at MJF's AEW World Championship. MJF has the Don Callis family. Two of the Don Callis family teaming with MJF are Andrade and Kevin Knight, and they have their sights set on the AEW World Championship. They have to coexist with the guy that they both want to dethrone. The only reason why they're playing ball here is Don Callis is getting handed a fuck ton of money from MJF. So MJF's team is basically ready to explode because of tensions between Andrade MJF, Kevin Knight and MJF, and the fact that MJF doesn't really have any friends in the matter here. He basically bought his team and is trying to buy his way to victory so he doesn't have to see Mark Briscoe in an AEW World Championship title match. This match was the best steel cage match in AEW history. I said it in the beginning. I'm going to repeat myself now. This was the best steel cage match in AEW history. MJF now owns the best dog collar match, the best Texas Death match, the best Iron Man match. Probably the best match in AEW history. Several of them. And now he owns the best steel cage match. The steel cage that was used here was not like the same steel cage match that they used last year at Forbidden Door. Last year's looked more like a kennel. It was like a New Japan kennel. It was a big box that surrounded the ring, and it was like something that you would house your dogs back in the backyard. It's basically what it was. It was like a kiddie's playground. They actually went above and beyond to create a new steel cage. What this reminded me of was Hell in a Cell minus the top of the cage, but circular. It was a circular Hell in a Cell without the top of the Hell in a Cell. That's what it was. It encompassed the entire ring in a circular fashion. I thought it looked fucking great. I thought it looked great. Now, I don't know if they actually named it. I saw someone on social media say that this is Death's Door. If that's not the name of the match, then I don't know. It's a great fucking name. I did not expect this match to be as entertaining as it was. I thought it was like a clusterfuck waiting to happen. I'm like, this is predictable. Briscoe's team's going to win. He's going to get the match with MJF. I'm like, all right. They used this match to protect MJF because he has the hyperextended knee. Bro, this was as entertaining as anything you will watch all year. In a good way. In a good way. I was so fucking entertained by this, man. I found myself laughing. I put my phone down for the majority of this match, and I watched what happened. Great stuff. And listen, I know people are going to be like, nah, man, that's wrong. The Bucks and Lucha Brothers is the best AEW steel cage match. Motherfucker, I was in the building for that match. I was there live when they actually liked me and invited me to fucking media. I was there. Jesse was on the other side of the venue. We were there together. This was the best steel cage match in AEW history. This was great. Chaos, unhinged, comedy, all of it was great. Not going to go over everything here because I'm just going to go over the highlights, some of the highlights that I jotted down. Kyle O'Reilly brought in a classic Nintendo system with controllers. Now, I don't know where he got it. Maybe he got it at his mother's house. Maybe she was cleaning out the basement and said, "Oh, Kyle, I got this Nintendo gaming system." Classic NES system with controllers. The thing is, these controllers were wrapped in barbed wire. He even had a old school Nintendo cartridge. He blew into the cartridge and put the cartridge in the system. Now, you OGs know that when the game wasn't working as intended, you pop the game out, you blow into it, and then you put it back, and then magically it works. I don't know if that was the key to making the games work when they weren't working, but we all did it anyway. It's like a thing from our childhood. So to see that, I'm like, that's fucking great. That is fucking great. And then he used the system as a weapon on Kyle Fletcher. Mark Briscoe had a backpack full of thumbtacks. Fletcher slammed Briscoe off the top rope onto the tacks. MJF then got involved and flipped Darby. Bro, this was a back body drop that had a revolution. And Darby landed not on his back, but on his face. His face on the thumbtacks. It looked fucking nasty. He came up bleeding. His entire hand was bleeding. Nasty stuff. Darby came up bleeding. MJF grabbed an industrial-sized broom and started sweeping all of the thumbtacks out of the ring because that's exactly what MJF would do. And it's smart. I'll slam Darby on it. I'll clean up the mess. I'm not getting slammed on that shit. Get the fuck out of here. Team Briscoe then went into the backpack and pulled out yet another bag of goodies. This time it was a bag of sliced oranges with a note from Willow Nightingale. They took a vitamin C break. Willow Nightingale packed orange slices for Orange Cassidy, so they all ate a slice of the orange, and then they took Kyle Fletcher captive. The conglomeration all kept Kyle Fletcher down. He was already bleeding. And they squeezed the orange juice from the orange slices into his bloody wound. Bro, that shit had to suck. That shit had to fucking suck. It's a bad use of oranges, by the way, man. Wasting food like that. Crowd chanted, "You sick fuck, you sick fuck." Citrus in the eye. Never seen it before. It's a first. Roderick Strong then had a mystery bag that he brought into the match in the beginning and started swinging it around, and he was using it as a weapon. I didn't know what was in it, but the bag remained outside. It took a little bit of a break. So everybody goes back to the mystery bag. I guess the Callis family wanted to use the mystery bag. They open the mystery bag and out pops Lio Rush. Blackheart Lio Rush. It's fine. It's fine. He's out there just fucking coming out of the bag. We get a holy shit chant. People are chanting for Lio Rush. He comes flying out of the bag. He starts terrorizing the Don Callis family. And then MJF's look when he saw Lio Rush, it was of sheer terror. His whole body language was fucking, he's like, whoa, 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 whoa. He's backing away. So Lio Rush gets into the ring and he starts terrorizing MJF and he starts, it's fine. He starts pointing at MJF. He starts pointing at MJF's diamond ring. He wants the dynamite diamond ring. He's legitimately Gollum.
My precious. It's fine. Can I have it? Please.
This guy's pointing to MJF's dynamite diamond ring. He's doing Gollum in the fucking match. Obviously, he didn't get the dynamite diamond ring. I mean, they ended up taking him out. They absolutely fucking destroyed him. Okada took him out with a Rainmaker, and they eventually, the Don Callis family stuffs him back in the bag, and then they zip the bag. Fucking Jake Doyle wanted to chain wrap the bag, and then they shoved it underneath the ring. Fucking ridiculous. Konosuke Takeshita at one point hit an incredible Blue Thunder bomb off the apron through a table on Kyle Fletcher. Just absolutely fucking crazy. I mean, I thought Fletcher hit his head on the floor on the outside. Takeshita, I thought he fucking tore a groin or a fucking tailbone or something, man. Just brutal spot. And then an unexpected moment of the night. I wasn't really paying attention. All I seen was Darby. In the beginning of the match, he climbed up to the cage because that's what he does. He's a fucking maniac. He climbs up to the cage, but he had a black sack with him. Now, I didn't really pay attention because Darby eventually ended up coming down. But what we all didn't see is that he left the backpack up on top of the cage. So at one point here in the end, Kevin Knight and Darby Allin are going at it. I'm sure that'll be the TNT title match at Wembley Stadium. So we're going back and forth with Kevin Knight and Darby Allin. Kevin Knight is trying to escape Darby Allin. So he does this by climbing the side of this cage. And he goes up on top of the cage. And he starts careening himself along the top of the cage. He's up there. And he finally thinks he's away from Darby Allin. He sees the backpack. He grabs the backpack. And the backpack exploded in Kevin Knight's face. Now, down below, there were 4 tables set up, 2 on top of each other. 4 tables together, side by side. Kevin Knight grabs the bag. It explodes. He falls off the top of the cage. He falls through the tables. He only falls through 2 of the tables. The bottom 2 tables apparently did not break. I don't know what the fuck they were made out of, but the bottom 2 tables didn't break. The top 2 tables, the tables that were on top of those 2 tables, broke. So it probably lessened the blow, but it was a great spot nonetheless. The fucking bag exploded. I don't know what was in there. Maybe Danhausen cursed it with his fireworks. I don't know. But he falls through the tables, and that was a great spot. The real story of the match came at the end. Andrade El Idolo. Andrade, he was in there, and apparently MJF wanted Andrade to help him. Now, Andrade did not want to, and they started arguing. MJF was about to take Briscoe's hat off with the ring. Cassidy made a save at first, put his hands in his pockets. MJF punched the shit out of Orange Cassidy. Darby Allin comes in, plants MJF with a Scorpion Death Drop and a Coffin Drop. Kevin Knight flew in from wherever the fuck he was. I guess he rose from the dead after being shocked and exploded on. Frog Splash. Darby Allin moved. So we get MJF ordering Andrade to hold Briscoe instead of Jake Doyle. So Andrade reluctantly says no. He lets go of Briscoe. He hits a spinning back elbow on MJF. Doyle shoves Andrade. Andrade gave him a low blow. And Andrade takes his shirt off. And underneath his shirt, he was wearing another shirt saying, "Fuck Don, fuck MJF." And he walked away from the Don Callis family completely. He's no longer in the Don Callis family. Mark Briscoe ends up hitting a J Driller on Jake Doyle, and Team Briscoe wins. That was basically it. Big moment. Andrade's now a babyface. He goes on his own. And Mark Briscoe's team wins, and now he's the number 1 contender for the AEW World Championship. And that's happening this Wednesday against MJF for the world title. No waiting. Excellent. I loved everything about this. I don't know why anybody would look at this and say, man, this shit sucked. You are out of your fucking mind. Out of your mind. This was excellent. Main event. Will Ospreay, Swerve Strickland with Prince Nana. This is the final of the men's Owen Hart Foundation tournament. I ranted about what I needed to in the beginning, and I'm not going to repeat myself. All I am going to tell you is the bell rang at 12:13 a.m. Eastern. I've been watching professional wrestling all day long. The steel cage match just happened. Mercedes Mone and Maya World just had the match of the night, in my opinion. And now we're being asked to sit down and watch a 31-minute match between 2 guys that are fighting for the right to go to Wembley Stadium. The crowd was largely exhausted from what we just watched. If you didn't give Omega and Zack Sabre Jr. 30 minutes, and you didn't give Bucks and fucking Teton and Mascara Dorada and Mystico and Shingo Takagi 30 fucking minutes, we wouldn't be here. AEW really needed to skimp on some of the other matches here to really make this one go off the air in a meaningful way. Bro, this went way too long and way overboard. I want to be very clear about something. The match was great. But when you go 31 minutes for a tournament final on a show that's already way too long, ending at 12:45 a.m. Sunday night, Monday morning, it's inexcusable. The pacing of the show and the match times that were given, inexcusable. Inexcusable. San Jose was the only city in the entire world that existed in Tony Khan's universe. He didn't give a fuck about overseas fans. He didn't give a shit about us East Coast fans. He didn't give a fuck about nobody, except for the fans in San Jose, where it was only 9:45 when the show was over. And Tony, if he had it up to him, if it was his decision, he would have given us another 4 matches. He would have let this match go on an hour. I don't know how we go from Double or Nothing being the perfectly booked show to this. I don't get it. These two men have wrestled for 3 consecutive summers. Before anybody says, the last time they wrestled was, one-on-one, was 2024 Forbidden Door. Last year they wrestled at Wembley in a tag team match against the Bucks, which was probably the best tag team match of the year. Now they're here again. Swerve won the first meeting at Forbidden Door 2 years ago, and the rematch ended in a 30-minute draw on Dynamite. So naturally, Tony's got to give above and beyond for the third match. Ospreay hits a Terminator Dive early, sets the tone. Both men went back and forth with V-triggers, snapdragons, big strike exchange. When these guys threw bombs at each other, they legitimately made you feel like they were fucking hitting each other. It was 2 men looking to fucking outdo one another, man. You felt it, you saw it. When Will Ospreay, and I wrote down here, when Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland are in the ring together, it is very difficult to find 2 guys that are actually going to find the chemistry to work with each other like these 2 guys. Swerve, if Swerve is known for anything in AEW, if he by chance leaves the company and will be remembered for anything in AEW, it will be remembered for his feuds with Hangman and Will Ospreay. Swerve owns 2 of the best feuds in AEW history, with Hangman and Will Ospreay. And both of them, though very violent, both of them feel very different. One, because he hated Hangman and wanted to do anything to prove to Hangman that, I don't give a fuck about your world championship aspirations. I don't really give a shit about your family. Hangman burned Swerve's house down, his childhood house down. This one is more of a respect thing. Even though Swerve is a heel and Ospreay's working with the Death Riders, who are a heel faction, and he's trying to achieve his dream at Wembley for the World Championship, there's a mutual respect there between both of them. Swerve is great. Ospreay pulled out a Poison Rana, multiple V-triggers, Kamigoye. He actually, I think he was trying to call back to some. He did, I think he tried to do a one-winged angel at one point. I wrote in my notes. He tried to do a one-winged angel. I know he tried to do a buckshot, or he did a buckshot with the hidden blade. Swerve came back with a house call, Swerve stomp. Near falls were crazy. The finishing stretch saw Ospreay finally hit a big move. Swerve kicked out, hits a hidden blade. He hit the one-winged angel, Swerve. Or Ospreay did. He hit the one-winged angel. Swerve kicked out. Ospreay hits a hidden blade. Swerve kicked out again. It was Swerve who was not going to give up here. The near falls at the end were fucking ridiculous, man. Ridiculous. Ospreay wanted an avalanche DDT. Strickland punched his neck. Ospreay was in the ropes. Big Swerve stomp. Vertebreaker. Strickland comes back with a house call. Hidden blade. And then all of a sudden, Ospreay, he turns Strickland inside out with another hidden blade, followed by a Stormbreaker, and Swerve kicks out. So Swerve ducked another hidden blade, sent Ospreay into Paul Turner, the referee. Swerve kicks him below the belt, hits another vertebreaker for a 2. Another hidden blade by Swerve this time, followed by big pressure, and Ospreay kicked out again. So all of a sudden, the Death Riders come back out to the ring, and they're cheering Ospreay on at ringside. Strickland hit a house call. Ospreay no sold, looked right at Moxley, and like I mentioned to you before, he looked at Moxley as if he was Paul Bearer in the urn, the Undertaker's urn. All of a sudden, he got this like fucking final shot of energy. So he looks at Moxley, pops Strickland with the hidden blade. He hits a buckshot hidden blade, connects for a 2. Ospreay followed with a paradigm shift, a Death Rider, and a Tiger Driver 91 to get the 1, 2, 3. And that was basically it. Ospreay's going to Wembley Stadium. Ospreay's now the number 1 contender for the AEW World Championship. And Ospreay wins the 2026 Men's Owen. Post-match, Ospreay and Strickland gave a nod to each other. We couldn't hear what they were saying. I would have loved to hear what he had to say, but Swerve was a bloody fucking mess. Ospreay gave him the speech. The Death Riders belted him with the Owen belt, handed him the trophy, picked him up, hoisted Ospreay on their shoulders. Alex Windsor came out, and the show ended with them walking up the aisleway with Ospreay holding up the Owen Hart title, saying, "See you at Wembley." Bro, the match could have ended 11 different times down the stretch. But AEW doesn't know when to call it quits. They don't know when to call it quits. We didn't need that many false finishes. Like, I get it. Tony thinks by booking a pro wrestling match that's reminiscent of a video game that everybody's going to go fucking crazy for it, give it 7 stars, and everyone's going to call it the greatest main event in AEW history. Bro, I would actually like a pro wrestling match to end when a fucking big move happens and someone gets hit with that big move and the big match comes to a conclusion with a big move. We get hidden blades. We get big pressure. We get vertebreakers. We get fucking Death Riders. We get paradigm shifts. We get hidden blades. Like, bro, did we need to go through all of that? I mean, it's like they had fucking 8 finishers lined up in WWE 2K26. It's like they had unlimited finishers. Like, I get you're trying to book the final of the main event for the Wembley Stadium show, the final tournament match for the main event of Wembley Stadium. I get you that you're trying to book it in the most epic way possible. But doesn't it look ridiculous to these people that there's so many fucking false finishes and kickouts? Both guys are fucking bleeding. At one point, Swerve was kicking out at 1. This guy's got blood pouring down his face. Swerve got flown into the fucking steps. Face first on the corner of the steps, which busted him open initially. I don't know, man. Some people enjoy that type of pro wrestling. I don't. I enjoyed the match for what it was. I thought the match was great. I thought the match really led to this show being a thumbs-up show. But if you're going to take this match and compare it to their 2024 Forbidden Door match, I'm taking that match. I'm taking that match over this one. I just think they went over the top for the sake of being over the top, and they have to go epic when it doesn't need to be that. It didn't need to be that. I don't even know what called for it to be this bloody. For what reason? For what reason? Ospreay wins. Now we wait. Does MJF beat Briscoe? Yes. Does MJF beat Omega? No. No, he does not. Where Andrade fits into that, I don't know. I really don't know. They may end up doing, if MJF and Omega is the play and MJF is going to drop the title to Omega and then Omega is going to walk into Wembley as the champion to wrestle Ospreay, I think that's terrible. I think that's the wrong move. I don't know where Andrade fits in. Briscoe's happening on Wednesday. Maybe they do Andrade versus MJF at Beach Break. That's a lot before we get to Wembley Stadium. MJF's going to wrestle Briscoe, and then Andrade, and then Omega, and then Ospreay, potentially. Maybe they don't do the MJF match right now with Andrade. Maybe we get MJF beating Andrade. Maybe we get MJF losing to Omega at Redemption in July, the next pay-per-view. Maybe we wait for Andrade to get his championship match at Arena Mexico because I think that Arena Mexico show, Grand Slam, is happening in the beginning of August. So if Omega is the champion, maybe we do that match because Andrade already has a win over Omega this year in the beginning of the year. Maybe Omega gets his win back. We do that match at Arena Mexico for the AEW World Championship. That would be a fucking great match. A great scene for that. Great scene for Andrade. Omega gets at least one title defense and one victory before he's got to drop the belt to Ospreay. It's going to be interesting to see what Tony Khan finally decides, but I've spoken up. I think MJF and Will Ospreay is the way to go. I just don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. Anyway, Forbidden Door ended up being a thumbs-up show. Whatever happened before the three main events, largely unimportant. If AEW, if Tony Khan didn't have those three matches go on the way that they did consecutively back-to-back, this show would have been a complete flop. He's lucky for Mercedes, Maya World, all 12 guys in that steel cage match, including Lio Rush, 13. And then Ospreay and Swerve Strickland going out there and doing what they usually do, which is deliver a great match. Without that, last three triple main event, back-to-back-to-back, this show's a thumbs down. Way too long. No show. No show. All In should be this length. Forbidden Door and every other AEW pay-per-view on the calendar should not. Thank you guys very much for all your support. If you did enjoy tonight's stream, I would really appreciate it. Please hit that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down below. And please turn on the bell for all notifications. We're going to get into your super chats in just a second. I want to make sure you guys are aware of what's going on coming up. We got a busy week. Monday, we'll be live for Monday Night Raw. Fallout from Night of Champions. Monday Night Raw is actually taking place in my home away from home, Atlantic City, New Jersey, at the Boardwalk Hall. Should be interesting to see what happens there. Hopefully AC brings the energy. We'll see what happens with Rollins and Roman Reigns, Obafemi and the new King of the Ring. We'll talk about it on Monday night, live here on YouTube. Tuesday is going to be a busy day. Tuesday Night Titans on Tuesday night. Silent Monster and I will talk about all that happened this weekend. 2 Count with the Coach on Tuesday morning, 11:30. We'll talk about Night of Champions. We'll talk about TNA. We'll talk about what happened here. And then your regularly scheduled content as we round out a great month of June. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. Make sure you go and hit that thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought of your favorite part of Forbidden Door. What you liked, what you didn't like. And please sign up for the Patreon page. We got some great content coming in the month of July, man. We're going to start rolling out some content in July. Sign up. Be the first to experience the OTS Tap Room on Patreon.com. Link is in the description. Please go and sign up. We're rebranding the Patreon page. We're going to do some SummerSlam Classic match reviews. We're going to maybe do some NXT stuff here and there. Should be good. I'm even talking to Jesse about possibly reviewing Lucha Underground. So go sign up there. And again, I want to thank you guys for a great turnout here on this very, very, very late Monday morning. Super chats, let's get into them. Michael Krause with a $2 super chat. JD, Jesse, OTS, all gas, no brakes with it. Yeah. Thank you, Michael. Caden with a 199. No message. Thank you, Caden. Johnny Boy Vaccaro. AEW should call this pay-per-view Forbidden Backdoor, considering it's the drizzling shits in June. Like I said, man, without those 3 main events, this show is a thumbs-down show. Fast Eddie with a 499. TNA Slammiversary is a banger, JD. I teared up with the Amazing Red tribute and Mike Santana coming out to pay respect to one of the greatest. And then he says Great American Bash was better than Forbidden Door. Kendall Gray is a superstar. We love Kendall Gray. Kendall Gray is awesome. Thank you, Fast Eddie. TNA was very good. TNA was very good. Best in the world, Matt. $10 super chat. Thanks, JD. Jesse, in advance, a little something for you guys for covering Tony Khan's ridiculous vanity project tonight. Or rather, this morning. I feel for everyone that has to work tomorrow. Thank you, Matt. I appreciate you, brother. Fast Eddie with the 499. That steel cage match was unbelievable. Mercedes Maya World was really a great match as well. Michael Krause with a 2. Congratulations, Will. 20-star match. Outstanding. Tommy Brannigan with a 53 months. JDOTS family, hope you are well. Have a great 4th of July weekend next weekend. OTS for life. Thank you, brother. Effing Raw with 11 months between TNA, NXT, AEW, and WWE tomorrow live in Atlantic City. Today was an awesome birthday, an awesome day for pro wrestling. OTS for life. Thank you, Effing Raw. Yes, Raw will be at 6 p.m. tomorrow. Raw is 2 hours earlier tomorrow because they're taping SmackDown at 8. Or 8:30, whenever it is. Adam JD 519 with a 27 months. We all need to admit that we are all sickos for being awake right now. Much love, JD. OTS for life. Thank you, Adam. Chris Phoenix with a 46 months. Listening to the best podcast in the business while at work. OTS for life. JD, you are the man. 46 months and counting as a member of this family. Thank you, brother. Thank you for being here. Gucci Milk with a 199. You got to pull a gun. You got to pull out a gun to get a 3 count on these motherfuckers. Yes. I think that's exactly what Swerve Strickland said tonight, man. You got to kill me to put me away. Thank you, Gucci. Killjoy with a new membership. Thank you, Killjoy. Justin Turner with a $10 super chat. Between TNA Slammiversary, Lola versus Kendall main events, with Kendall winning the title and the final 3 matches of Forbidden Door, saving the pay-per-view. I was very entertained. Congrats to Kendall Gray. Yo, boy, Pete, with a $20 super chat. JD, you warned that this show was not worth the $40 price tag. It had, and boy, was I feeling that. Overall, though, what a day of wrestling. TNA, AEW, and still need to watch NXT. Raw tomorrow, 6 p.m. start, nonetheless. We will be at the OTS Beer Garden. Thank you, brother. I will be here. Also, with a $4.99, says Pete, JD, it's way too late early for that Lio Rush impression. I think Salamonster's got me beat with the Lio Rush impression. Don Stoney with a 5. Shout out to Don Tony, Wrestling Soup, Spitball Media, and as always, rest in peace, Kevin Castle. And we'll end with this theme park and things with a 43 months. Holy cow, JD, you are still on. You're the GOAT. You deserve to be relaxing right now. Keep up the great work. Haven't been too happy with both companies. Thank you for this. Thank you, theme parks. I appreciate you, man. Yep, I'm still live. Oh, my God, man. I'm about to get out of here, guys. I gave you all I got. I'm surprised I'm out of here before 3:30. Thank you guys for a great stream. I will see you live for Monday Night Raw. We'll be live tomorrow, normal time. I'm not going live earlier. I'll be live normal time. I'll probably end up watching Monday Night Raw and then going live at normal time. Watching Raw 6 p.m. and then going live at normal time. I don't want to switch it up. So we'll just keep it the same. But thank you guys very much for a great stream tonight. I know it's late for everybody, but you guys make it worthwhile. And we're going to do it all over again tomorrow. Follow me on social media, at JD from NY206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn the bell for notifications. And go check out all the great content. More coming on Monday and on Tuesday. And we'll see you right back here with more on Off the Script. I'll see you guys later.